All right. Thank you. So, like I mentioned, we have an amazing guest speaker with us, Uche Edwin, who has also been in the education space for quite over 5 years, and he currently works as the EdTech product and operations lead at DSN AI, and was an academic director at one of the fast-growing education technology companies as well. So, I mean, it's super, super amazing, and I'm sure we're definitely going to learn a lot from him. So, yeah, I would just like to invite Uche Edwin to the stage. Hi, Uche, are you there? Hi, Uche.
Yeah, hi Tulu.
All
Charles,
right.
trying
Yeah.
to.
How
Yeah,
are you doing?
very good. Very good morning to everyone from wherever we're connected to the call. Yeah.
All right, then. I mean, you kind of have the floor now.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. So I think I can share my screen.
Yeah, sure. You can. I'll just stop sharing now.
All right, that's fine. Um,
Can you try sharing now?
yeah, so while I'm trying to put up my screen, once again, good morning, everyone. Super excited to be here on the call with us. I believe it's going to be a very insightful and interactive engagement. That's what I see it as, right? I'm not just here to share what I know, but also to kind of like get your feedback and understand as how what you're currently doing, right, in your respective schools and how technology can help improve it and what you're currently doing with those technologies. So let me share my screen. So while I'm sharing my screen, I would really appreciate us on the call if you can just drop in the comment section to school proprietor or principal. If you just drop the name of your school, the location, if it's in Lagos, good. If it's outside Lagos or outside Nigeria, awesome. So the name of your school, the location, and your designation, right? If you're the head teacher, the proprietor, the owner, right? We really appreciate so we can have, I mean, it's a virtual call. If this was a physical call, I would have just gotten on the session immediately and then walk around to everyone and then just ask these questions. So I can see a lot of names here. It's, I cannot share, you've disabled sharing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Okay. So while she's doing that, so I'll walk around to meet everyone. I can see a lot of persons. Amarachi, Amobi, Babalola, Esther, Balaobi, Exatech, Margaret, Sulufemi. So these are all names that I'm excited to meet on this call. So, but I would really love to make it a little bit much more individualistic, right? So can you please drop in the comment section, guys? It's you might want to lead the way. Yeah, awesome. So you could just drop in the comment section the name of your school, right, and also the location and your designation, right?
Can now share your screen.
All right. Let me go ahead to try that.
Okay.
Okay, I think it's working now. Okay, so let me put on the video. Just a minute, let me set up my video. A lot of virtual background. I don't want the virtual. Okay, so I can see someone else who have answered, who has dropped location. Let me just remove this. Okay. All right, I think this is perfect. Thank you. So, Mobi Quisak, thank you very much for joining us. Who's consultant joining from Lagos? Awesome. Kulida Amola, member of the Prodigy team. Awesome. Thank you very much. So I expect a lot more persons. I mean, it's very easy. Just go to the comments icon, right, and just drop in your name, school, right, and location and designation, which is very important. Thank you, Amarachi, joined from Enugu. Okay, so I'm going to move very fast in this session. Like I mentioned, it's going to be not a one-way session. So I'm prepping us up by engaging in the comment section, because I would really expect that's like the most intuitive way on this call to get feedback. And I really believe that I'm not just expected to just as in dole out what I know, right? I really also want to get your feedback. I want to engage us on this session. So that's why I'm prepping you right now. Exactly. Great. Thank you. So you're going to be making use of the comment section a whole lot more. Thank you very much, Ali Yakubu from Esatech Solutions in Kano. Awesome. Thank you very much. Obe Adeoye, STNT Regency School, Jari Keja. Thank you very much for joining us on this call. Okay. So while waiting for the rest, we can just get started into what we will be covering. So, of course, from the theme of the session that has been shared with us already, we're looking at how we can begin to integrate technology if we are currently doing so, because I expect to some extent that we are already integrating some different aspects of technology into our education. So for me, right, for those of us who on this call who have already started with a little bit of these technologies as an aim automating our processes and improving our learning delivery, right? The goal is to help you see a whole lot more possibilities and get to know much more technologies that are available to you, which you should maximize, right, as you go into 2023 and beyond, to improve the quality and the level of education that you provide to your students. I mean, that's essentially the goal. So we'll be looking at where we are, I mean, what we've done, what we know K-12 education to be, right, in the past, what we know it to be currently, and what the future looks like for K-12 education, right? From there, we would also look at what are the key areas in education that are being transformed by technology. I'm just going to mention that very, very quickly, right? And then we'll look at the innovative technologies that are currently transforming K-12 education, which, like I mentioned, some are already available to you. You have an awesome platform here provided by the organizers of this session, Prodigy, right? And there are a whole lot more that you can add, you can also integrate, which is essentially the purpose of this session. And then we would see practical steps, right, that can help you to start leveraging this technology from now. I know a lot of us are already going on our Christmas and New Year break. So this period, right, affords us the opportunity to explore and research some of those free and even low-tech platforms that you can begin to integrate as you resume the new session in January. I mean, the new term in January. That's the goal, right? That from this call, you go back to your respective homes, right, and your respective school systems, look through it and see some easy-to-use tools that you can introduce to your students and to your teachers. That's the goal of this session. And finally, establish why it's important for you to start now, right? I mean, the best time to get started with you making use or leveraging some of these technologies was 5 years ago, and that's the truth. The best time was 5 years ago, and the next best time is now. So you cannot afford to waste any more time before taking these technologies or these available tools, right, and seeing how they can help you improve your processes. very important. So that's what we look at. And in between, right, I will be engaging, as like I mentioned, and also at the end, of course, I would encourage that if you have questions and clarifications, please put them down as I run through the session, and you can just let me know. I mean, we'll ask your question when the time for the Q&A comes up, right, and is signaled by our organizers. So let's get started very quickly. All right, a quick introduction about myself. As I've already done very good prep, right? Sheikh actually was my colleague at Utiva. I believe she mentioned that, right? We did a lot of things. I mean, Utiva is one of the leading sub-Saharan Africa edtech startups that is preparing young people across Nigeria and also Africa for the future of work by helping them transition with relevant tech skills, right? And that, I mean, we did a lot of things there. So I'm a product manager right now and an edtech consultant, of course, with over half a decade of experience working across multiple edtech initiatives and also startups and organizations, and even helping in consulting for other initiatives that can really scale up education, especially across Africa and this region, Nigeria. Of course, I've led academy and digital learning at Utiva. I mentioned that earlier. Right, I'm currently working with DSN AI. DSN there stands for Data Scientist Network AI. So we have AI, of course, is artificial intelligence, right? And the reason why we have that is because we have in DSN a foundation and also an AI organization, right, that builds AI solutions for the global markets. And currently, I'm head of products and operations at DSN AI. I'm going to be talking a lot more about some edtech products that we've used, right, that we've launched into the market, right, and we're getting amazing feedback. Of course, right, you might want to explore them. I'm passionate about education. I believe by now you should know that. I haven't worked pretty much my entire career in the edtech space, right, and also very passionate about startup and also how we can scale transformational leadership across our country and across our educational space. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn, UJ Edwin. That's where I share some of my thoughts around how we can begin to improve what we do in individual organizations. Okay, so let's move on very quickly. Now I'm just going to show us what K-12 education, right, where it stands in 2022 by taking a retrospective look at where we were before now, where we currently are, and what the future portends. And I'm just going to be using a few pictures to demonstrate that, right? I believe strongly that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I also know that this is a picture that every one of us on this call can relate with. This is what we know education to be, or classroom education to be, a whole lot. Will I say 5 to 10 to 15 years back, right? I know definitely that there are still a couple of schools who still deliver education this way, right? I understand that, but this is what was prevalent, right? A couple of years ago. This is what we necessarily accepted. Teacher with blackboard, right? Writing the subject concepts and lessons on the blackboard with students taking notes, right? This is what we know it to be. To take it a little bit further beyond the classroom to the entire school management, we write invoices on piece of papers and give to our students to take home to their parents for them to pay their school fees. We develop report cards at the end of the year, hard copy, right? And we make it available, right, to the students at the end of the session or at the end of the term that they can take to their parents. That's what we know education or K-12 education to be, right, in the not too distant past from where we are. But going forward, right, this is what we now becoming for those of us that have not necessarily evolved, right? Or we've experienced some level of evolution in our school systems, right? Maybe you change our blackboards to whiteboards. We've introduced some computer systems that we now have a computer lab in our schools, which is great. And for those that are, I mean, up there, right? Some of these whiteboards have been integrated. They're not just whiteboards now, but interactive whiteboards that allows you to store, to share, to pull up files and documents, and also to write, because of course they have a writer board. So those are some interactive boards that are now being used that can be connected to the cloud, and students can share that document. Teachers can pull up their notes from cloud storage, right? And then you have, okay, and then we have students who have their tabs that they can make use of, lesson notes, videos, assessments, and even interact with their fellow students, right, on some of the easy to use tools, right, or easy to use platforms that we are conversant with. And also, most schools now allow students to bring in their systems, right, to class. Now, for most schools across this climb, right, across Nigeria, what we have seen is a hybrid of what is currently on the board, I mean, on your screen right now, and what I showed previously. In other words, provide, I mean, who have the whiteboards, they also have computer systems, but definitely are still making use of their notes. I mean, students are still making use of their notes to take lessons, which is not bad, right? I mean, I encourage writing. It's one of the fastest and the best way to document knowledge and also to improve retention. So, but we've not necessarily evolved completely. So the reality is that there is a hybrid. Most schools currently, especially the largest majority of schools across this climb, across Lagos, Abuja, and other cities in Nigeria, right, have a hybrid of what I showed previously and this. And so the goal is, how do you continue, right, to intentionally move your students, because technology is evolving and is disrupting. And I can tell you for a fact, students in your school are a whole lot more exposed to much more technologies than their school is currently making use of. And that's the truth, right? Some of the most intuitive and interactive technologies that are available, they are exposed to it in their homes. And so this, our schools should not be left behind. Our schools should be at the cutting edge, right? And doesn't have to cost a leg, right? It doesn't have to cost a leg, but it doesn't have to be extremely expensive for you to begin to integrate or totally move with the flow of technology, which is what is expected, such that our students can compete, right? And our school can stand among other schools to say, okay, we are delivering cutting edge 21st century education that is preparing our students, right, for the future, because that's the goal. So this is the present. And what you have, okay, I just showed this, right? Also the present. So this is a quick picture that shows us what is possible. So on the screen, we have a virtual classroom. During COVID-19, Otto Rodam, who is the founder of Slum to School, a non-profit organization that is taking students or young children out of the slum and providing education to them, such that these opportunities that they do not have in their respective underserved communities, they can begin to access it. And so during the COVID-19, right, he developed one of the first virtual classrooms in Africa, right, to deliver learning to over 948 students. And so what you can see there were students connecting from their individual homes, right, and a network of systems that are in this virtual classroom, such that also who is the guy there in the middle, right, can speak to and interact with every single one of them. This is what technology has made available, because previously, before now, if that COVID-19 had happened, say in 1999 or in 1998 or anytime in the 20th century, right, it would have been extremely difficult to continue to deliver learning. And I know that some of us on this call, I mean, we also leveraged some tools like Zoom, right, during the COVID-19 to deliver learning to our students. So you can see what technology is capable of and why we need to begin to use more of it, right, as we go into the future. So here we have the future, and I have to put like question mark there, right, because this is what the classroom will look like in the future. We would have classrooms that are extremely different, right? I mean, from what we currently know it to be. That's the truth. With the advent of some of this cutting edge technologies, these technologies that we have schools across Nigeria, even schools across Lagos that are currently using some of them, but they've not totally revamped their system to ensure that these technologies, right, are the core. They're not just an addition, but they are the core delivery methods in both learning delivery and the entire school process administration. So this is a picture of the future of education, or the future of K-12 education, right, where we have students making use of VR headsets. I'm going to speak a lot more about that going forward. We'll have students learning learning
Can you so sorry. Can you mute your mic? So for me, please.
okay.
Uche, please can you help me mute my mic? Can you help me mute a mic, please?
Okay, okay, right.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. So this is the future, right, that, like I mentioned, we are expecting, and it is much more closer than we think. So do not think that this is some 20 years from now or some 15, 30 years. That's not it. As a matter of fact, right, this is the reality of schools outside the country. I mean, schools in Europe, schools in the United States, right? This is their reality. The reason why some of our schools here in Nigeria have not completely adopted these realities is largely because of two things, right? The cost of adoption and also the technological know-how of the teachers and administrators who should make use of these to, deploy these technologies to deliver learning. And so those are the two key areas, or the two key, will I say, factors why some of those things are not necessary. So cost is a major one, right? We have to be realistic with that. But as technology improves and as more organizations cut down the cost of the manufacture or the production of these tools, right, expect to see more schools across this line take up these tools, right, to deliver learning. And so it will not just be an addition, right, it will be the entire learning ecosystem, the entire model of delivering their learning from primary one or from nursery one all the way to basic 12. That's what is expected. So expect to see this in the not too distant future from now. That's the truth. And so let's move on very quickly. Now, this is a very quick exercise for us. I just want our thoughts to know what we think. I haven't seen the last slide I showed. Do you think that AI robots, right? I mean, some of us have already gotten to hear a whole lot about artificial intelligence, AI, right, and how robots will take a lot of jobs in the future. So I want to get your feedback in the comment section. If you think AI robots will replace teachers, what's your thoughts on that? If you say no, they won't, but they will assist, or you say yes, they will. So every teacher needs to learn how to operate them, and so they can focus on your operation and not necessarily teaching, right? Because the robots will teach a whole lot better, right, than teachers. So if you think, well, I need to know your thoughts, and that's why this question is it's just a quick exercise, right? So you can go ahead in the comment section, right, in the chat session, you can go ahead to drop your thoughts very quickly. What do you think? Is it yes, they will replace teachers in our schools in the future, and this is why, or no, you don't think so? I want to get to hear from us. So can we, in the next 30 to 60 seconds, just drop our comment sections there very quickly? So I'll be expecting our answers. Now, one of the things I expect you to know is that no wrong answers and there are no right answers. I mean, in my sessions, right, the goal is to learn more, right? The goal is to put out what we know and ultimately get insights, because there is power in community learning, right? You get insights from everyone. So let me know what you think. Exatech, thank you very much for this, your thoughts. I don't think they can replace teachers, but they can help in easing teaching duties with the help of course, of the teachers. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that submission. So we expect more. I believe there are a lot more persons on this call, right? I mean, let's expect up to 4 or 5 more answers, right, in the comment section. Okay, so let's move on very quickly while I expect more answers from our participants on the call. So let's now deep dive to the exact technologies that you need to be aware of, right? Yes, you know about a few, right? But let's now deep dive to some of these technologies and some of these systems that can help improve education. Adeoye, all right, the answers are coming in. Thank you very much for these. Adeoye said no, but I think they can enhance teaching and learning processes. Great. Thank you for that submission. Amobi, yes, in some areas, but not completely. They will be complementary efforts. Technology actually creates more opportunities than it displaces. Awesome. Thank you very much for that feedback. All right. So of course, I'm also of the school of thought, and I'm glad that we have this common understanding, right, that as much as artificial intelligence and its agents, like robots, right, are going to be extremely smart and very, very knowledgeable, right? Far much more than we know in the things that we teach, right? Because some of the things that we teach are repetitive, and artificial intelligence can learn it. So as much as they are going to be extremely smart, right, they will not totally replace teachers because of some of the lapses that we have identified in artificial intelligence, which is where teachers now and educators now need to focus on. One, to learn how to operate these artificial intelligence solutions, right? And also areas of human connections like empathy and feedback, right? And a follow-up with the students to connect with them on a much more emotional and deeper level, right, than robots. So those are some of the areas that our teachers need to now understand how to leverage, right, while knowing what to do and how to operate these systems, right, because those repetitive tasks will be carried out by the robots, and they're going to do a great job. Okay, so let's move on very quickly. Technologies that are transforming education today as we know it. Now, this is the very first one that you need to be aware of, right? Previously, all of our lesson notes and all of our classes are delivered, right, with a teacher standing in front of a class of maybe 20, 30, 40 students and dispensing knowledge and putting down a few thoughts on the board. And after he's done, right, the lesson notes are shared to the students, which they have to copy, right, and then give it back to the teacher, and then of course at the end of the session or the term, an examination is performed, right, to test the students on those knowledge. But this is one of the ways, that technology has improved this particular area of learning delivery, right? Because these content have now been digitized, right, such that it can be delivered, right, in video formats. And I believe that we are all aware of some of these amazing platforms that are being used by educators, right, to deliver learning. One of the ones that I'm extremely, I celebrate a whole lot, right, is ULesson, right? Some of the things that they are doing, right, to take the same lessons, the same courses and subjects, right, and deliver it in an interactive and easy to learn manner, right, such that the students can relate with the concepts that have been explained in those subjects, right? So I expect that, some of us are aware of this, of ULesson, and if you don't know about ULesson, why not? You can just go ahead on Google, search, see what they're doing. Their apps, are fantastic, right? Their lessons are easy to use, and a lot more students are beginning to take up, to augment and to complement what they are being taught within the four walls of their classrooms, right? Of course, I have students also who leverage YouTube, right, there are YouTube channels that are dedicated to specific subjects, right? And so after they've taken these lessons in their classroom, they also make use of YouTube to learn, right? That's the truth. And as much as possible, I expect us to be aware of this, right? Because it's very important that it is not now the students making use of it alone, right? Without the teachers being aware of how to integrate it and such that it is now very, very collaborative and intentional in its use. Okay, so as a teacher, you're teaching the subject and then you're finished the lesson notes, and then you can then actually give them video lessons, right? Links to the video lessons that they should watch that will ultimately improve what they've been taught in that class. That is you noting this technology, the presence of this technology content, right, or this digital content, and leveraging your students use. That's very important. Okay. Just a minute. My laptop just showed me low battery, and I'm surprised. Wow. So give me a few seconds to just fix that up. Okay.
Can you please mute Mark? I think
okay.
His mic is on. Yeah.
Let me just do that. All right.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's move on. Now, the next one that you need to be aware of is gamification, right? That allows you to stimulate better engagement for your students, right? And ultimately make learning much more fun, right? I understand that we deliver lessons and then assessment tests, midterm tests, and all of that. We deliver assessments, midterm tests, and all of that, right? Which is great. But now your testing and your assessment needs to be much more intuitive, and that's what these platforms like Kahoot, which is like the biggest platform for gamification of learning, right, affords you, and it's free to use. So if you're not using Kahoot right now, right, you should explore how to begin to leverage it going to the new year, how to integrate it into their lessons so that there is this much more collaboration and engagement. So students, classes are not necessarily, or assessments are not necessarily waiting till midterm, right, or till the end of the term for exams, but it can be on an ongoing basis in a fun way, right, that students learn and then they can quickly access, they get feedback and they see how much they know of that subject. These are platforms that you need to be aware of, right? There are a whole lot more, but Kahoot is free to use and it is very, very good. And I expect that we begin to leverage it. That's the truth, very, very well. Much more into the new year and beyond. Then augmented reality and virtual reality are technologies that are also extremely great for you as a tutor, as an educator, to see how you can make use of them. Now, one of the things that I try as much as possible to do is, remember I mentioned at the very beginning that one of the reasons why some of those amazing technologies have not been adopted, right, on a large scale by our schools across this line. I think the concept or the subject of cost, which we are very much aware of, right, because of course it increases the overhead cost, and that overhead cost passed to the teacher, or I mean to the parents, can be a challenge for some of our parents, right? So what I want to do as much as possible is to introduce you to the low cost technologies, right? These are very powerful, but some of them they cost, I mean, some are free and some cost next to nothing. That's the truth, right? Because before you now begin to make use of some of the high-powered ones, see how you can maximize low cost. That's my goal on this call, right? Or on this session, to help you see how you can maximize low cost to improve your learning delivery and your entire school education, right? The education that your school is delivering to your students. And so augmented reality, in this later in this session, I'm just going to show us or give us some platforms that allows you to deploy augmented reality, right, to your classrooms very easily. So these technologies that allow students to learn subjects that are very visual and very practical, subjects like geography, chemistry, biology, physics, even mathematics, right, through an immersive experience, right? So in augmented reality, this experience leverages existing environments, right, or existing objects, right, across a mobile or a tech device. Right. While in virtual reality, it's a totally new environment that is created, making use of VR boxes. So some of these VR boxes are quite expensive. That's the truth, right? So, but like I said, a whole lot more companies are improving the cost of production or the cost of manufacturing and cutting it down by as much as 50 to 70%, so that it becomes prevalent. So it is not a luxury, now becomes a necessity for everyone, right? Because this is where learning is much more immersive, right? Students are immersed in the entire environment of learning, making use of virtual reality. So these are also technologies that you should be aware of. And then next we have this artificial intelligence for interactive and personalized learning. Now, one thing that we must be aware of is that there are a lot of students in our classes, right? Some of our classes have 15, 20 students. Each of the students are unique in their own different way. They do not all learn at the same pace, right? They do not all grasp what we are sharing in the subjects at the same pace. Some are very good in mathematics while they are picking up in English, right, learning, while some are extremely adept in subjects like geography, chemistry, English, and the rest of them, but they struggle at some other subjects. So these are the realities. Now, previously, before now, education was delivered in a one-size-fits-all model, where a teacher just stands in front and delivers the same learning to everybody. And what happens is that some students grasp these things faster than others. But I mean, we just think that those who do not grasp it, I mean, they are slow to learn. No, they are not slow. Just the point is that they all have individual learning patterns, learning styles. So technology has allowed us to take note of these individualistic patterns of learning and tailor the entire learning to these patterns, so that a student A, right, and Adeoju, right, and student B, Emeka, do not have the same cognitive ability for that subject. Emeka might be very, very like fast in learning mathematics. Why Adeoju, okay, speaking it up slowly, but not as fast as Emeka. Why not tailor learning to each of them, their individual pace? at the end of the day, they get to the same destination, but following different learning patterns. Now, this is one of the things that my organization, Data Scientists Network AI, was able to do with Mastercard Foundation during the COVID-19. We built an adaptive learning engine that delivers learning in low-cost models, right, using SMS and USSD to students across Nigeria. So with their feature phones, they can get lessons and also quizzes that test them and is tailored to their learning. So what you have here are just screenshots of some of the models that we built, right? It was delivered with SMS, such that a student has a ID number, right? And once he puts in the ID number, the system requests for his class, and the moment he indicates his class, right, using one of the codes, whether 1 for primary 4 or 2 for primary 5 or 6, the questions are then released about the subjects that he wants to learn is indicated, and then the questions are released. So once the questions are released, the student's answer, if he passes it or gets it correctly, he moves on to the next question. If he fails the question, right, a simpler question is asked, right, so that that learning becomes paced, well-paced, and tailored. So it's not assuming that the student should know this. No, it's saying this is what he should know, right? But if he doesn't know it, let's give him this, right? So that it builds that knowledge. And that's what AI is able to do using chatbots and adaptive learning engines. And it's something that we need to be very much aware of, right? So, of course, we were able to make use of this in, in 2020 and early 2021 for the Mastercard projects, as in to deliver learning using SMS. Okay, so let's move very fast. I'm just going to, we are going to round up before we take questions and answers. How you, as an educator, should begin to leverage technology, right? Make use of some of the easy to use tools. Now, the first one is for you to improve, focus on improving your learners' academic performances. Now, how do you want to do that? I mentioned earlier that there are available platforms, channels on YouTube, as an or ULesson, which is available, and Duolingo is on that platform, free to use, that allows them to learn language. How do you, because I don't just want to tell you what to do, which is for me very important, right? But much more important is how do you do this? So see how you want to integrate these courses or these tools into the everyday learning of your class students. So you are finished delivering mathematics, or you finished delivering English, right? The next thing is give them videos that they need to watch. Right, so you as a tutor or as an educator need to also explore these platforms and say, okay, you have learned this in class, now watch this video to augment what we have taught in class. That way they come back the next day and they give you feedback on this thing that they've learned. That's you leveraging these available platforms, right? These available video, digital content, because it's very important. These students, they watch a lot of videos, so you want to meet them where they are, right, in their individual homes. Instead of watching other videos, give them videos to watch, and then get them to submit their feedback on some of what they've learned, or an assessment from what they've learned. Next one there is, how do you shorten your feedback loops, right, with your students? Classes should not, or learning should not just be limited to the classes. Now you can begin to leverage. Some of us already have WhatsApp groups that we use for our classrooms. So that's a very easy to use tool that you need to use a whole lot more, right, to get feedback and encourage your students or your tutors to make use of, right, to get feedback from your students, engage them in the classroom, drop lessons there, and get them to ask questions, right, and then you can give them answers. Google Classroom is also on that amazing tool that is free to use, that you need to be aware of, right? These are tools that you can begin to use from next term. That's, for me, very important. Then, how do you want to automate your school processes? Now, Prodigy has done an amazing work in building a very great platform, a very good platform that you, I believe some of us are already making use of it, right? Can use for your learning delivery, your finance, your communication, right, with parents and all the stakeholders in your school. this platform is available to you. And I expect that if we haven't started making use of, after this session, my anchor team will just show you a lot more how to get started on this platform to begin to automate some easy processes right in your school. The next one is, how do you prepare your students for the future of work, right? By not only teaching them the conventional subjects like mathematics, English, chemistry, and the rest of them, but also now introducing them to some of these subjects that allows them to play effectively in the future of work. Something like coding, like design, like automation. They are easy to use tools that allow you to introduce it to them. Platforms like Scratch, like SoloLearn, right, allows you to begin to give them bit-sized lessons, right, in these coding classes. And they can start as soon as possible. That's the truth. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things that we're currently doing in my organization, in delivering coding classes to schools and to parents, right, for their kids. It's important that as they learn the mathematics, they're also learning the coding, they're also learning the design, right, because those are the skills for the future. So they are introduced to it at a very early stage. Now, introducing experiential learning to your classroom using free augmented reality and virtual reality platforms and tools, right? I listed a few there, ULearn, which is something we developed for our organization, right? And we've not yet deployed, but it's still in development, where students can make use of their phones to scan QR codes on their textbooks, right? And then they get to watch videos, lessons, and animation lessons on that subject. So it's a product we're building very quickly and launching in 2023. So then you have an animal safari. AR is a free to use tool where your students can begin to, they have phones, right? You as a teacher, you also have phones, so you can introduce it to the classrooms, right? And allow them to make use of this in the classroom in an interactive way. They scan, they make use of their phone, they scan a picture, and then that picture is animated, right, in an augmented reality environment. So all of these are available. I will share this slide so you can just go through them. Photomat, amazing to Khan Academy for Kids, Alum Plants, AR visualizers, right, Google Translate, explore them. That's the goal of this session, that as you do this session, you explore these tools and see what you're not currently using and see how you can use it. And then finally, encourage the use of device-based learning, right? If you're not currently doing it, this is what I expect that you should do. Perhaps a day in the week, right? You should have it where your students bring in their devices that are making use of at home, either a tablet or a phone or a laptop, and then bring it into the class, and the lesson is delivered making use of those platforms or those devices. That way, they are not just making use of the devices at their homes. No, it is a part of their learning. So they understand that the school is always encouraging them to learn it. Of course, some of us have concerns, right, about students being exposed to a lot, but that they shouldn't be exposed to when they make use of these phones. But there are tools that allows you to control what they watch or what they view on their phones, right? It's simple to like Google Family Link is available to everyone free of charge. Check it out. Google Family Link allows parents to automate the platform, the devices, right? Control what they watch, control what they view, right? And then help them streamline the things that they should do on their phones. So that's, for me, right, it's shouldn't be an issue, right? Every technology or everything that has a good side also has like a not so good aspect, but that should not stop us from encouraging and introducing these learnings, bringing it into the classroom, because they are using it already in their homes. So why should it be excluded from the classroom? I expect that it now becomes a part of their learning, because this is what the future requires. And I believe that as we begin to, take some of these few things that I've listed, right, and then see how you want to bring it into what they are currently doing, you will see some significant and remarkable improvements in their learning, which should get you to want to do more. That's what I expect, and I believe we can get to do that. All right. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll just allow my colleague or my anchor to take over from here. If you have any question, right, you can just go ahead to ask. All right, thank you very much. You can take over.
All right. Thank you so much, Uche. Thank you so much for the amazing delivery. I'm sure that we definitely learn so much from all that have been said. I think one of the things that actually stood out for me was the gamification part, which actually will definitely help to stimulate better engagement between teachers and students. And I think this is we're going to dive a little bit further into this topic the next webinar in next session, sometime next month. And I mean, we also look forward to having you around again. So do we have questions? We'll just take the next few minutes to just take questions, and then we'll move to the last part of the session, very brief. Do we have any questions that we would love to ask before we'll round up this part? I mean, if you want to ask a question, you can just use the how's it called? The reaction button, and then I'll just okay. I think Bennett. Which do you want to help mute unmute rather? Bennett.
All right, Bennett, you can unmute your mic now. Hi, Bennett.
You can unmute your mic. Yeah. Hi, Bennett. Are you there?
Okay. Ask you to unmute. Bennett, you can unmute yourself now.
Okay, so
Yes,
I think
Bennett, I want to drop the question in the chat room.
okay. Does any other person have a question while we wait for?
Okay, Bennett says, can we have a look at some of the features of the project? Oh, awesome. It's
okay, so we can actually take a look at some of the features in the final part of today's session. But if you have any question regarding the topic that was being discussed, by Uche.
All right.
Okay, so I think in the absence of question, I'm not sure any other person has a question. But if you have a question, please feel free to drop it in the comment section and I'll attend to it. So we'll just move to the last part. Thank you so much, Uche. That was beautifully delivered. Thank you so much. And we look forward to also having you around in the comment sessions. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. So I'll just ask to take my lead because I have on the session getting to. But of course, if there are any questions, why not? You could just reach out to me. And if they want to reach out to me personally, why not? Just go through. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for the time, and you have an amazing rest of the session.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we're just going to move to the last part of this session. Let me just quickly pause my screen. Just a moment. Let me clean host. Okay. Just a moment, please. Okay, so I think I'll just quickly call on my colleague to talk more about the Prodigy School Suite, and then we would bring on board one of the directors of one of the schools that is currently utilizing Prodigy School Suite. I'd just like to bring on board Daramola. Are you here?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sure. You can just
thank you. It's been a wonderful session listening to Mr. Edwin give wonderful ways to actually leverage technology in education. So quickly, I would like to actually say a few things about Prodigy School Suite. So allow me to share my screen. Okay, I think you should allow me, you've disabled sharing. All right. So while I'm giving access to that, I would like to say that Prodigy is actually.
Right now.
Okay, all right. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, sure. Can see your screen.
All right. So Prodigy School Suite is an edtech company that actually helps school to achieve their goals in school administration, financial duties, and academic processes. So what we do basically is to actually help school to actually achieve their goals, achieve more productivity, efficiency, leveraging educational technology. So that's what we do basically. And why is Prodigy actually relevant today in the educational technology or space? Now, because one thing is that what schools can actually, we provide schools with what they need, and schools can actually, as school actually evolve, Prodigy actually provides with them with everything they need. One of our things we do is our after-sales support is actually unique. This software is scalable and it's flexible. You can actually cherry pick what you want. And we are always there to actually be with you to help you achieve all your goals. So in a bit, that is what Prodigy School Suite actually does. Someone actually asked, could we actually share some of the features? Okay, we would actually do that. One of the ways to actually do that is we'll actually reach out to you and ask, schedule a demo session with you, right? But for now, this is what we just do. We just tell you basically what we do, and that's what we've just done now. We have several schools in Nigeria, in Lagos, beyond Lagos, and in some countries in Africa. So we are relevant and we are always ready to actually help schools to achieve their goals. So thank you for this session. So, Ms. Ituno.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can we just a moment, sorry. So I'd like to bring on board, I think Mr. Obi. Is Mr. Obi here? We have one of I don't know if he's here. Let me check my yeah, so we have, can you help me confirm if Mr. Obi is here? So thank you.
Yes, we have a participant by the name Bola Obe.
Okay.
Mr. Obe. Hello, sir.
Okay.
Are you there, sir?
Not sure. I'm not sure. I think you have to unmute him before you can talk. Can you try unmuting here? If okay, so while we wait for that, thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to be a part of this session. If you're really interested more about learning more about the features that we have in Prodigy and how it can help you automate most of your processes in your school, let me just share my screen so that I can you can easily see this. Let me just reclaim pause. Okay, good. Okay, if you're interested in scheduling a one-on-one call, conversation, or a demo session with the Prodigy School Suite team, please feel free to reach out to us via Prodigy School Solutions@gmail.com, or you can send the direct WhatsApp chat to this number. Yeah, so I think the final part is to have Mr. Obe talk a little bit about how they're currently utilizing or how it's benefiting their school today. I don't think he's actually online. Let me ask him to unmute. Can you unmute you?
Hello, Mr. Bola Obe. Are you there, sir?
Okay, so I don't think while we wait for that, do we have any other question that we would like to ask regarding Prodigy, or do you have any questions generally? Or we can. Okay, so I think someone is. Okay. Okay. So in the absence of question, if you'd like to learn about Prodigy, like I mentioned, you can just reach out through this email or this phone number. We're happy to get you started, or schedule a one-on-one demo session with you or your school. Someone is saying something. Thank you very much, and we look forward to having another session like this come next month. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.